Hey there, I'm Morgan from Teachable, and today we're going to be talking about why and how you should start a blog to support your online business. For anyone who doesn't know what a blog is, basically it's just a website where you share posts regularly, and it can be about anything you want. Most blogs have a really specific niche, like maybe a food blog or a DIY blog or a mommy blog, while others tend to go for more lifestyle blogs where they write a little bit about everything that interests them. If you're creating a blog for the purpose of growing your online business though, I do recommend niching down as much as you can and creating a blog that can really support the product that you're selling. For example, if you are selling an online course about coding, you could create a coding blog where you talk about different projects you've completed, different tips you've learned, different courses or classes you've taken yourself. And then you can become that one-stop shop for coding information. So when you announce your online course on your coding blog, people already trust you, they know that you know what you're talking about, and they'll be more likely to buy. When a blogger or even a YouTuber or a social media personality is regularly sharing information or posts, their audience trusts them a lot more than they would trust just a random person who put out an online course. Blogs are also a great way to grow your email list. You can make just a few lead magnets or pieces of free information that you give away in exchange for your audience's email addresses and interject those little content upgrades within your blog posts. And as your blog gains traction and you start getting traffic, people can sign up for that free piece of content and essentially be signing up for your email list. So now they are farther down to your marketing funnel. So we've kind of established that blogging is awesome. Now we need to figure out how to go about starting your blog. You've got a few options here. First, if you already have a Teachable account, you can use our website. You can use your Teachable account to start a blog, and I'm gonna have it linked below step by step exactly how you can do that. If you decide you want to create a standalone blog, you're gonna need a few things. First, a domain name. Choosing a domain name is hard. I've created several blogs in the past, and usually that's what trips me up the most is figuring out what I want to call these blogs. So if you're stuck, here are a few things to consider. You can make your domain name just your name. For example, I would do morgantim.com, or you can make your domain name keyword heavy with something in your niche. So if I was doing that coding blog, I could call it codewithmorgan.com. Or you could do some sort of inside joke that only people inside of your niche would really understand. Really, my biggest tip here though is don't overthink it and don't let coming up with a name hold you back. Second, you need hosting, and there are a million different hosting sites. I mean, there's like HostGator, Bluehost, a million more. So whichever one you choose is really up to your preference. Once you have a domain and hosting, all of a sudden you're ready to build a site. Personally, I recommend building your site on WordPress because it really is robust in its capabilities. You can create beautiful themes, you can buy beautiful themes. There are so many widgets and plugins that can really enhance your website. Once you've gotten to that point, you need to consider things about the categories you're going to be blogging about and what you want in your navigation bar. There are a few basics. You're going to want an About Me or an About This blog page so people can kind of see what you're all about. You're going to want to have different category headers. So on my blog, I've got like fashion, health, college. It was a college blog when I started. Those headers help people find the content they want to see. And you'll want a courses or a shop tab too. That way people can really easily find the products you're selling. Finally, you're going to need a few visuals to make your site pop. You might want to do a header logo right on the top of your website. You'll probably want a headshot or image of yourself for the About Me and maybe for the sidebar. And come up with a color scheme or branding of some sort. That way people see your site and begin to associate that branding with your business. Now you should start creating content and creating a backlog of content. So I would try to stay as true to your niche as possible and create content that only your target audience would be interested in. If this site is really built to support your business, you don't need to be talking about things that are so far outside of your business that most of your audience wouldn't care. With that said, there can be some balance. Perhaps you are a huge part of your online business and your brand really revolves around you as a person. Then you might want to consider sharing some glimpses into your life outside of your business and outside of your niche, but I would still keep the main focus on your niche and keep the topics related to whatever it is you're selling. If you're going to be blogging, you really want to be updating that blog regularly and on a schedule. So if you want to take this super serious, I recommend twice a week. That's a really sweet spot for sharing enough content that your audience always has something new to see, but it's not overwhelming like blogging every day or 5 days a week would be. If you get to that cadence, a lot of times your blog readers might get frustrated because they can't keep up with all of the content, and if they really love your blog, they're going to want to. Now, I really recommend creating like an actual backlog where you're publishing posts that have been ready to go for weeks, because sometimes life creeps up on you and you're gonna find that you can't create content for a week and a half because maybe you have like strep throat or something. You want the blog to be able to continue no matter, if you're sick or you want to go on vacation or you're just a little bit overwhelmed and can't be creating new content. You're also going to want to create content upgrades, which is what I mentioned a little bit earlier, and these upgrades are going to help funnel people into your email list. So these content upgrades can be anything that you think your audience would be interested in. Maybe you're going to create spreadsheets that will be helpful to them, or ebooks or mini courses or shopping lists. Any high value item that people who would be interested in your course would also be interested in is a perfect lead magnet. From there, we've pretty much set up a blog. I've got a few little tips that I've learned in the past almost 5 years blogging that I wanted to share as well, with a little less structure, so I'm just going to kind of rapid fire some of my favorite tips to you. First, every blog post should have a purpose, and that's coming from someone who treated her blog like a diary for its first year and a half. That's great, and it's a great way to express yourself, but you really want your audience to walk away with something after reading your post. And that could be they now know something they didn't know before, or they've learned how to do something, or maybe they're just wildly entertained. But people probably don't want to know a list of everything you did that day. It's just not going to be too interesting to them unless you did some really cool things that day. Second, long form content is so powerful. It's fairly easy to pump out 200-word blog posts. You can do that in half an hour on your lunch break. But what's really impactful are 2,000-word blog posts. They rank better on Google. They help, like I said earlier, establish you as an authority. And they're more helpful to your readers. The next tip is break your content up. Nobody wants to go through a huge wall of text. They want paragraph breaks and headers and images that kind of cue to their mind, like, hey, this is going to be a pretty easy read. If your blog post is just a ton of text, people might just X out of it without reading it, because that can be overwhelming and people don't want to feel like they're reading a textbook when they're just reading a blog. So bonus tip, if you're using WordPress, you should download the SEO by Yoast plugin. It analyzes your blog post for you and tells you how good of a job at SEO you did, and if it's a bad job, it gives you advice on how you can fix it. It's fantastic. It also tells you how easy to read your blog posts are, which goes back to, breaking it up and making sure you're using headers and images and not too long of paragraphs. Other than that, I really do recommend everyone start a blog for the business purposes, but also it teaches you a lot of skills that are super marketable and applicable to being an online business owner. You'll be a better writer, you'll be better at managing your time because blogging requires a lot of time management, and you'll be better at creating content because it just trains those muscles in your mind. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I will be back soon with another video. Please like this one and subscribe if you want to see more. Bye!